Hey, Anthony, as I was discussing with somebody on Facebook, I think it was today, we were talking back and forth about Jesus not being God. Then he came out with the statement, well, if Jesus wasn't God, then his death and resurrection was meaningless. Do you say about that?
Well, he's right. God cannot die. The immortal God cannot die. So God cannot be resurrected because resurrection means resurrection from death. And so if Jesus is God, he couldn't die and couldn't be resurrected. That's absolutely clear. I don't think anybody imagined that. It's like saying, well, what flag does the Queen of England fly over the Buckingham Palace? The American flag? I don't think so. This is absurd. God cannot die. The immortal God cannot die by definition, although there is a hymn by Charles Wesley which says, as you know, "'Tis mystery all, the immortal dies." That's the degree of nonsense to which we've allowed our brains to be scrambled, I think, in terms of easy things. So I think your friend had a great point there, didn't he?
Well, actually, he was debating me, and he was actually saying that Jesus was God.
Okay.
And I was trying to say, no, Jesus is not God. And I was trying to, cite a bunch of, passages and try to somewhat convince that person. But they say no, because if Jesus was God, then his death would have been meaningless. I'm trying to say, well, Jesus is God because that meant that his death and resurrections had a meaning to it. He needed to be God.
Well, it has no meaning at all because God cannot die. I said, if he's God, and death is meaningless. You're not proposing anything that is intelligible. Go and look up your words in English first of all and Spanish, and then come back with a question that's intelligible before we deal with it. So I think you won that argument.
And somebody made a comment about Jesus being born on the 25th, and I said, well, Jesus was not born on the 25th,
Probably
and
not.
God did not become a man.
I'm currently asking various sites, what does the creed of Jesus propose in Mark 12? This is a very interesting question. I'd love it if you could go to John MacArthur's site, any of the big evangelical sites. Tell me in one sentence, what did Jesus propose to that Jew when asked about the greatest of all commandments? Was that a Unitarian answer that Jesus gave, or was it a Trinitarian answer?